One of the goals of good programming is to create programs that are easy to use. Your user interface should be clear and consistent. Because most of your users will already know how to operate Windows programs, you should try to make your programs look and behave like other Windows programs. The design of the screen should be easy to understand and comfortable for the user. The best way that we can accomplish these goals is to follow industry standards in relation to color, size, and placement of controls. Once users become accustomed to a screen design, they will expect applications that follow the same design criteria. One recommendation about interface design concerns color. You have probably noticed that Windows applications are predominantly gray. A reason is that many people are colorblind. Also, gray is easiest and best for the majority of users. Although you may personally prefer brighter colors, if you want your applications to look professional, you will stick with gray. The form that I have on the screen is an example of this, in that the form itself has a gray background and each label has a gray background. The text boxes that you see have the default white background. This is an indication to the user that the labels are simply there for direction and the text boxes are there for their input. Another user-friendly feature is to create access keys. Creating access keys gives the user another option as opposed to simply the mouse. An access key is when the user uses the Alt key in combination with another letter. To create access keys is rather simple. Using the Properties window, you will simply change the caption of the label to include an access key. The special symbol to create an access key is the ampersand. Place the ampersand immediately before the letter that you wish to be the access key. In this case, the letter N. You'll notice in the caption property and also on the form itself, the N has been underlined. Do likewise for the address. Decide what letter you want to make the access key and place the ampersand immediately before that letter. I'll make the letter P the access key for phone. Now my form is prompting the user to either use the mouse to click into a text box or to use the access key to prompt them into a particular text box. There is one other item we must address, however, and that is the tab index. The tab index is a property associated with all the controls that are on the form. You'll note that the tab index for this label is 0. The tab index is nothing more than a number which is automatically assigned a control when it's placed on the form. It is given a numeric value in the order in which you place items on the control. So obviously this label was the first item I placed on the control as Visual Basic starts counting at 0. I want to make the tab index of the text box that corresponds to this label to be 1 greater than the tab index of the label. Since labels cannot receive focus, when the person tabs or creates the access key Alt-N, the focus will not stop on the label, but rather will go to the next tab index. So therefore, this text box should have a tab index of 1, that is 1 greater than the tab index of the corresponding label. So I'll simply type a 1 in the tab index. Now let's check the tab index for the next label. This has a tab index of 2. That's fine. This text box then needs to have a tab index of 1 greater than that label, so therefore I should make this 3. This tab index is a 4, and the remaining text box is a tab index of 5. So now my program should run. Let's test it out. As the program runs, you'll notice the insertion point is already in the name box. That's because the tab index of 0 did not stop at the label, but rather went to the next tab index, which was 1. Now I could type in something into this text box, and now I could either use the tab or the mouse or the access keys that I've created. Alt-A will take me to the address, so I can type in an address into the address box. Once again, I can press the tab key or I'll press Alt-P, and that will allow me to enter a phone number into this text box. So now we've given the user at least 3 ways to enter data. Click in the text box with a mouse, press the Tab key, or use the access keys. Just remember that when using access keys, to be aware what the tab index property is.